Final Fantasy VII Rebirth modders need to be stopped. For me, personally, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was my game of the year, bringing me a solid 100 hours of entertainment during this calendar year. What is worth mentioning though is that I and others were only able to play it because we were PlayStation 5 owners, but next month all of that is about to change as one of the greatest modern releases is finally coming to PC for the first time. While the game's arrival on a new platform is exciting in itself, many are excited for an entirely different reason. Mods. That's right, with the game arriving on PC, players will suddenly have all new levels of freedom that they didn't have access to when playing the previous version. This opens up a wealth of new opportunities. For example, men of culture everywhere gaining the ability to bring their, shall we say, Final Fantasies to life, if you know what I mean. Thus, leaving those who worked on the game scared and concerned over what you lot are going to do with their characters. After all, this wouldn't be the first time that gamers have had their way with Tifa against Square Enix's will. So, join me today as we head over to this golden era of mesmerizing modifications and check out some of the carnal creations and provocative projects put forward by the Final Fantasy fan community that have already found their way into the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. When it comes to Rebirth, it's no wonder individuals at Square are worried. Bearing that in mind, I am Lady Decade. Hit the subscribe button as things are about to get very spicy, as this is why future Final Fantasy VII Rebirth modders need to be stopped. I honestly love everything about both of the remake games, from how existing characters have been redesigned and portrayed to how interesting brand new individuals have been successfully integrated into the scenario. It has been crazy to see the amount of love that even more minor characters in the title like Jessie, Biggs and Wedge have received, with them each being fleshed out and turned into even more tangible characters who feel like they're a part of a huge living, breathing world. It's stuff like this that makes the emerging remake trilogy all the more impressive to me. When we pair all this with things like amazing new, more action-orientated combat systems, the updated art style, the big story and the orchestral soundtrack, it becomes clear that this is a lot more than a simple remake. It's a full-on reboot, reinventing a classic story, taking advantage of modern hardware and everything the current age has to offer. God, I love these games and the amazing levels of immersion they offer. They are everything I ever dreamed of when it comes to reimagines and more. But here is what is really, really crazy. Despite the game not arriving on PC until early next year, by using my affiliate link down below, you can get an absolutely insane 43% off this brand new upcoming release. Let me repeat that, 43% off. That is an absolutely huge saving if you take advantage of my offer now. What's better, if you haven't got around to playing the first part of the new trilogy yet, Final Fantasy VII Remake, I can get you 45% off a twin pack, giving you a PC version of both games and even the amazing Yuffie side story DLC too. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the pinned comment and take advantage of this deal while you can. The perfect start to 2025 awaits you for much cheaper than everyone else. In a recent interview with the Epic Games Store, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth director Naoki Hamaguchi chatted about all things Final Fantasy, from its humble beginnings and inspirations to the first time the series debuted on PC, which was coincidentally Final Fantasy VII itself, all the way up to Rebirth finally coming to PC on the 23rd of January 2025. However, despite all of the interesting points he had to make, there was, of course, one thing that he said that had struck a chord with gamers everywhere, and quite possibly not the chord that he intended. Regarding the creative world of fan mods, he would state, "We respect the creativity of the modding community, though we ask modders not to create or install anything offensive or inappropriate. You see, if there is one thing that should be well known by now, it's that you can never tell gamers what to think and what to do. We know this is the worst thing you can do, as our inner oppositional defiant monsters will inevitably cause us to do the complete opposite of what they want. I have no doubt now that Hamaguchi will be forced to eat his words, as men of culture everywhere prepare to create for him a storm of not suitable for work content that will be unleashed onto the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth world. In fact, it almost feels like he is coaxing players into making the most offensive mods possible. After all, why would they not bother to do so this time, when there have been plenty of mods made for PC games of all shapes and sizes, you name it. There's a game and there's a mod, and in my time I have seen some downright sensible mods, such as adding pretty details to the scenery in Skyrim, to mods for lazy people, like when you can unlock all of the upgrades and abilities by leaving the perks in a lockbox by the entrance to Vault 111 in Fallout 4. Therefore, making a statement asking modders not to create or install anything offensive or inappropriate is basically the same as reminding them, oh yeah, remember that one time that you imagined Tifa with even bigger boobs and juicier thighs and you could like see her nips and everything? Well, make that please.
If I was a boxer, I would bounce those things like Sugar Ray Leonard.
Actually, now that I think about it, maybe Hamaguchi is pulling some galaxy brain reverse psychology here. You see, deep down, he wants to see as many lewd mods as humanly possible because, let's be real, most Japanese men are certified connoisseurs of cultured content, so why would he be the exception? When it comes to features Hamaguchi definitely doesn't want in the remake trilogy, this absurd mod probably tops the list. This one strips Jessie of her top and her underwear, which, let's be honest, takes a scene from flirty and fun to flirty, fun and completely unhinged. Just picture it, Jessie's just hanging out the front of her bunkhouse, swaying in the breeze, like it's the most normal thing ever. And then there's poor Cloud, socially awkward, one glitch away from a full-on sensory overload, trying to keep it together whilst Jessie flirts with zero chill. No top on, just melons everywhere. Even the psych at the end comes across as complete lunatic now. And let's for a second laugh at this strategically placed pizza. The first time I saw it, I was crying. It's funny how a lack of clothing can change the context of a scene so drastically. Well, checking on YouTube for even more mods, and not just naked ones. And don't look at me like that, because I bet you would have searched Final Fantasy VII Remake mods naked first too, and don't lie. Anyway, I was being a responsible adult and searched for mods like a normal person, and thank Gilgamesh I did, because I stumbled upon this video by Lethal Dine that had me belly laughing. Why? Because it features a mod that turns Sephiroth into none other than, wait for it, Ronald McDonald.
So, what? What are you laughing at? It's just another normal day at the office, isn't it?
Imagine the one-winged angel, but with clown shoes, a yellow jumpsuit, and the aura of someone who's about to serve you a happy meal of darkness. What in the McFuck is that? You see, I was already cracking up at Barrett's new fashion statements. The luscious long hair, the bow tied to his arse, like he's the world's deadliest Christmas present, and the Mega Man blaster, because why not? Then there's Cloud strutting around bald with tattoos that scream, I'm having a midlife crisis, and socks that say I've completely given up. And just when I thought I'd seen it all, this video slaps me, I tell you, with the Shrek mod, where Aerith is casually transformed into Fiona because nothing says flower girl of destiny like a swamp princess with layers. But the real kicker, a train rolls into the Sector 7 slum station, and who's pulling in like a nightmare on wheels? Thomas the Tank Engine.
Thomas the Tank Engine rolled into town.
His creepy, soulless eyes are silently whispering, "You're gonna need therapy after this." It's like someone replaced dystopian drama with pure what the f*** energy. Honestly, none of this is subtle. It's like getting hit in the face with a pie while someone yells, "Welcome to modding." This Lethal Dying video just might be one of the greatest things I've ever seen. He crams in hundreds of mods that no sane person has ever asked for, and his reactions and those of his audience are comedy gold. So I highly advise you to check it out via my description if you want to see all of this in more detail. Amongst this, he swaps out the Buster Sword for a Minecraft sword and then a leek. Then he changes Cloud's look into his blocky OG Final Fantasy VII Big Girl's Blouse Corneo disguise. Watching this low poly mess try to strut his stuff on the Honeybee in stage is something that I didn't know I needed in my life. And to see tears pour on his face from the wrong place also added to the absurdity. Absolutely brilliant. But the pièce de résistance? Seventh Heaven gets rebranded as Willem's Heaven, with the bar absolutely plastered in photos of Willem Dafoe. This is utterly insane. Just when you think you've recovered, bam, another Willem Dafoe poster smacks you in the face from behind Cloud's bedsit door. It's like the whole game got hijacked by Dafoe's PR team and they've gone completely feral. At this point, it feels less like a modded game and more like a psychological thriller where Willem Dafoe is omnipresent. Oh, and poor Marlene! They did something to Marlene and now she looks like she's seen too much. And to just twist the knife further, Aerith gives Marlene a sweet, comforting hug, and in the background, more cursed Willem Dafoe pictures staring deep into your soul. Honestly, it's like a fever dream where the mods are fighting for control and Willem Dafoe is winning. Now, I've waded through an ocean of Tifa and Aerith mods. Naked versions, muscle mummy editions, alternative outfits, rainbow hair, eye colours that look like they belong in a tropical fish, you name it. And you can feel the mindset behind these mods. Somewhere a modder looked at Tifa and thought, you know what's missing here? Traps for days. And just rolled with it. Honestly, I respect the dedication to the art of f it, let's do it. So, circling back to what Hamaguchi said earlier, I genuinely wonder if he's ever seen even like a fraction of the chaos that I've just witnessed. I mean, Sephiroth McDonald isn't even the tip of the absurd iceberg when it comes to modded Sephiroth content. While the Tifa and Aerith stuff was predictable, I was mentally prepared for those because it was obvious that there was going to be loads of stuff like that. But nothing could have braced me for what I found next, because on one fateful Google Images scroll, I saw Sephiroth, and by Sephiroth I mean his one-winged trouser snake. Someone had gone full Michelangelo on modding his junk. The level of anatomical detail was impressive and kind of disturbing. Did this modder sit at their PC, eyes squinting in concentration, thinking, what would the ultimate villainous schlong of Destiny actually look like? They mapped out every muscle and every vein like they were sculpting a Greek god. I'm sweating because it's hot in here. Anyway, we know exactly what they were up to, and it wasn't saving the world. And I reckon this is exactly what Hamaguchi and his team are sweating bullets over. I get why you'd make that statement, but honestly, it would have been way smarter just to not mention it at all. Modders are gonna mod whether Square Enix likes it or not, and the best strategy here is a solid head in the sand approach. It's like that meme with the fake Miyamoto tweet. saw a picture of Mario and Luigi kissing one another online. Please do not do that. Yeah, saying anything is like waving a red flag in front of an internet that's ready to charge headfirst into chaos. I wonder, honestly, if Hamaguchi had flashbacks to the whole Italian Senate incident when he brought it up. For anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, let me just read an extract of this Vice article to you. Someone crashed a virtual event from the Italian Senate on Monday and streamed 3D Prawn featuring Final Fantasy characters in front of several politicians, academics, and one Nobel Prize winner. The video featured a 3D prawn of Final Fantasy VII character Tifa Lockhart getting it from behind. A few seconds of the video played before the speaker realised what was happening and the organisers started trying to remove the person streaming the video. Imagine a room full of politicians pretending to be dignified, serious faces discussing politics and policy when suddenly, bam! 3D rendered Final Fantasy characters going at it like chocobos in heat. At this point, Square Enix needs to understand the internet's going to do what it does best, ruin everything in the most hilarious way possible, and there is nothing anyone can do about it. So they can either pretend it isn't happening, or brace for impact when someone inevitably mods Cloud into Italian Senate-approved chaos. Well, I do not believe that Hamaguchi or anyone else will be able to stop Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's upcoming mods. One thing is for sure. We are guaranteed to get plenty of content that is not suitable for the Senate. So, with that said, I cannot wait to see what gets dropped into the game. And don't forget, if you pre-order right now, you can get a massive 43% off the PC version of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and access it from day one. And if you really need to catch up, I can get you that 45% off the twin pack, including Remake, Rebirth, and the Yuffie side story DLC. So if you play Remake now, you'll probably be done just in time for Rebirth to come out. So don't wait. Be bougie and treat yourself. If you want to support me in a more personal way and gain access to my backlog of cosplay images, including my 2 Tifa cosplay variations, then please consider supporting me over on Patreon. See you next time.